What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel, Changes with Chunn. I'm Chunn, and today I wanted to do a whole story time type of video. It's literally like a story that I have told like every single one of my friends. And it's the first time I got into big trouble with my dad. Like, I got into a little trouble, like, didn't I tell you to clean your room? Didn't I tell you to do the dishes? Stop hitting your brother. Like, I got into that kind of trouble, but I never got into like big trouble with my dad. So before I jump into the story, I just need to give you a little background information that's gonna help you better understand the story. So throughout this whole week, I was messing up. Like, I wasn't doing my chores. Like, my dad had to repeatedly tell me to clean my room. Me and my brother were fighting all the time. I was very slick mouthed with my stepmom. So leading up to this, I was just not really in a good position anyway. Literally the day before this story, the time that this story takes place, my dad pulled me to the side and he told me, like, I'm not gonna do too much of this talking stuff. You know, there are better ways for you to learn lessons. And he looks at me, he goes, a hard head makes a soldier. Then I go to school the next day. I'm in 3rd grade. I'm in Miss Matthias' class. I always remember Miss Matthias because despite this event, she was actually literally top 3 of my favorite teachers that I've had of all times. So Miss Matthias, she's up there, she's teaching her little heart out. She got her overhead projector, her transparency sheets, and her wet erase marker. She's up there, she really going ahead, and she's into it, right? So after she finished her whole little spiel, she gives us an assignment and tells us that we have 15 minutes to complete it. She sits down at her desk and she says, if you need help, raise your hand and I'll call you over. So I'm like, all right, boom. She passes it out. Within 2-3 minutes, I'm completely done with it. So I'm done with my work. I look up from my table and I start a conversation with my classmates. I remember like it was yesterday. I'm like, what would y'all do if y'all just got $10 million? Like, if you got $10 million, what would you buy? So we talking about it, and the more we talk about it, we're getting excited. So when you get excited, you get loud. So Miss Matthias comes over and she's like, guys, I really need you to keep it down. I need you to buckle down. I need you to focus. And she looks at me and she's like, Miss Chunn, why aren't you doing your work? I'm like, oh, I'm done. So she grabs my paper. She looks at my paper. She looks at her answer key. And then she's like, I could give you some more problems for extra practice. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just go ahead and read my book. Like, I was really into Harry Potter at that time. So I'm reading my book. It lasts all of 30 seconds. So one of my classmates that didn't get to say what they would buy with $1 million, they start talking about it again. So as they start talking about it, same thing happens. We get excited, we get loud. Miss Matthias comes over and she goes, I already asked you guys to buckle down. I already asked you guys to go ahead and focus. So she looks at me and she says, I think that you should remove yourself from the table and go to the reading corner so that you're not a distraction to others. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna just read my book. So she goes, I really don't want to have to say it again. And I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna read my book. Reading my book, and I'm reading my book. I'm actually in it. I actually decided to be quiet at this point. But the person next to me has my desk shaking. They're sighing. Everything's because they're shaking their leg. So I look over and I'm like, bro, you alright? And he like, nah, this is stupid, this is hard, I'm never gonna finish in time. And at that point, I decided to help him. So I'm helping him or whatever. We going through the motions and I'm showing him how I do it. And he kind of has this aha moment. When he has this aha moment, he gets loud and excited. So he's like, oh, that's all you have to do? And she comes back over and she's like, Miss Chunn, go ahead and go to the reading rug. That's it. Go to the reading rug. Excuse yourself. You're distracting people. So I'm like, nah. I was actually helping him. Wasn't I helping you, bro? So he's like, yeah, she was helping me. He's like, no. She's like, no. Go ahead and go to the reading rug. I'm not gonna say it again. So at this point, I'm kind of upset because I don't understand that the reason that I'm in trouble is because it's the 3rd time that she has to talk to me. At this point, I think, I was really trying to help somebody and she's yelling at me. So I'm like, no, I was trying to help somebody. I don't understand why you're yelling at me. Then I was like, matter of fact, you always singling me out. It could be everybody in here talking, but you're gonna talk to me about it. I'm going back and forth, which is highly disrespectful. I am aware. I wasn't aware in the moment, but I'm aware now. So she's like, you know what? I'm calling the house. I get this whole little, you know what? Call the house kind of vibe, because it's during the day. My dad worked during the day. Every time in the past that me and my brother got a phone call home, we would race to the house because we had like a 20-minute period before my dad got home. So we would race to the house and go ahead and delete the messages off the answer machine, delete the number off the call ID. She breaks out her little Rolodex thing with all the numbers on it. So as she breaks out her little Rolodex thing with all the numbers on it, I'm still kind of like, you know, I'm still getting lippy with it a little bit because in my mind, my dad's at work and I'm gonna delete the message before he gets home. So then the phone ringing, it's on speaker. And then I hear, hello? Boy, when I say my stomach dropped down to my feet, my stomach dropped down to my feet, man. So she's like, hey, this is Miss Matthias. I'm Zakia's teacher. And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, I've actually been trying to get in touch with you for a while and I haven't been able to get in touch with you. I've left several messages on the answering machine for you to get back to me. So he's like, oh really? So I'm like, ooh, off that alone, I already knew. I already knew I was gonna get it. She goes on to continue like, Zakia is very talkative in class. She's often a distraction. And when she's redirected, she always has something to say. She's also been known to use profanity in the classroom. I'm sitting there, I'm sweating. I'm pretty sure I had tears in my eyes at that point. He says, I'm sorry that my child is giving you a hard time, Ms. Matthias, and I promise you will never have that problem again. No lie, minutes later, they were like, Ms. Matthias, we need Zakia Chunn for checkout. I'm crying, I'm getting my stuff, I walk downstairs. So I get downstairs, I get to the front office, I look at my dad, he looks at me, nobody says anything, and he goes, so I just start following him up to the car. We get in the car, says nothing to me, doesn't say anything, it's silent, no music, nothing. Get out the car, we go in the house, he still hasn't said a word to me. I don't know what to say, so I'm not saying anything either. So I'm like, I'm already in hot water. It was like 3 dishes in the sink. I'm like, let me go ahead and bust these out real quick, wash the dishes. After wash the dishes, I was like already getting in trouble for not cleaning my room. And I'm moving at like light speed right now because I'm like trying to make whatever better right now. I'm basically almost done cleaning my room. As I'm flipping the comforter up to complete the final step in making my bed, all I feel on my butt is whoosh. I'm crying hysterically. My dad never hit me at this up until this point in my life. So he goes, you know, you got one job. You got one job. That one job is to go to school. You up here and you giving this lady a hard time. I already told you that I'm not gonna do too much of this talking to you. He's talking to me, then he hits me again. Whoosh. After he hits me again, he's like, and then I told you only people who pay bills curse. So then, boom, he starts walking away. When he starts walking away, in my heart, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad it wasn't worse. Then he turns around, and then he's like, I got one question for you. Answer me this, and you better not lie. Have you ever came in this house and deleted a message off my answering machine that came from your teacher? And I'm like, yes, sir. And he hits me one more time. But then he walks away for good. So I'm like sitting there, I'm like on top of being in trouble, on top of feeling like I disappointed my dad, I'm sitting there like heartbroken because this is first, my dad had never hit me at that point. So I'm super heartbroken. I'm just sitting there, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed and I'm like, hey man, I'm like, it could have been worse. So then he comes, and he's like, yo, let's go. So I'm like, where are we going? I don't know where we're going, but he's like, yo, let's go. So we get in the car, he doesn't say anything to me, but I hope you learned a lesson. I hope I don't have to teach this lesson again. Before I look up, we back at the school. We go in the front office, he signs me back in, he sends me back to class. I can't even stop crying at this point. So like I'm trying to get myself together before I walk in my classroom. Long story short, I can't. I walk in there and I was like, you could tell I just been crying. You could tell that I'm still emotional about it. I sit down at my desk and Miguel gonna look at me talking about, what's wrong with you? Bro, don't need to talk to me. You the reason I'm in trouble. So then Miss Matthias comes over again. She was like, hopefully I won't have to call your house again. Between my first whooping from my dad and my second whooping from my dad, my first whooping was in 3rd grade. I was in 3rd grade, the story I just told you. I didn't have to get another whooping until 9th grade. Like, that's really how much of an impact it made on me. Like, I tightened up. He didn't have to repeat himself to me too many more times after that. That is the end of my story. If you enjoyed my story, like, comment, subscribe, and go ahead and hit that little bell so you can get a notification anytime that I upload. Thank you.